Hey guys, this is Shelbe with Sister Locks, and welcome back to Two Sisters Lock.
Stores are like Chelsea change. Now the lights spread the dimes. Time to spread this, your dreams can't settle. Godly thrones that be dancing salads. Got the ransom, don't come at all.
So today I will be sharing with you how I found a Loctician in my new city. Now, I feel like it can sometimes be hard to find a Loctician in any city, especially if it's a city that is not predominantly Black. But it also, I feel like, becomes even harder to find a sister Loctician, because when you're finding someone to do sister locks, they can't just know how to do locks. They have to be sister lock certified, or they should be if you want to hopefully guarantee that your hair will turn out good. Although, you know, they can be sister lock certified and still not be perfect either. But yeah, so it can make it even harder to find. And so I'm just going to share a little bit about what I considered and how I found someone when moving to my new city and how that whole situation has turned out for me. But before we get into this video, make sure to stop what you're doing right now. Go ahead and like this video and subscribe. And also head over to our Instagram at Two Sisters Locked. And we'd love to have you there checking out all our content. We're also on TikTok at Two Sisters Locked and also on Pinterest at Two Sisters Locked. So go ahead while you're watching this video and just go ahead and follow us and like and comment on our stuff everywhere. We'd love to have you join our community. Let's go ahead and get into the video. So the first thing I would recommend is before you even move to your new city, go ahead and start doing your research. Especially these days, sister Locticians are booked up. Like, I feel like everyone is trying to get sister locks these days. And so a lot of people just don't have room. And so you want to make sure you call as early in advance as you can so that you don't have issues getting in with them. Especially if you already have sister locks and you know, like, I'm going to move and then it'll be a month till I need a retightening. Or in my case, when I moved, it was literally the Monday after I moved. I moved on a Friday. The Monday is when I was getting my hair redone, because I had been traveling for like 5 or 6 weeks. I think it was 6 weeks. So I hadn't gotten a retightening in like 7 weeks. So I wanted to get my hair retightened as soon as I moved. And so just consider that you don't want to call someone right when you move if you know you're going to need to book an appointment soon, because a lot of times you have to book far in advance. So as soon as you know you're moving, pretty much, I would go ahead and start looking. For me, I came here for grad school. And so I knew from April or May, that I was going to be moving here and in August. And so I started looking from then. So that's like 3 to 4 months in advance. I was already looking at the options for a sister lock certified Loctician here in Cambridge. And so the way I looked that person up was through the website. So I knew that I wanted to get someone sister lock certified, because sister locks are hard to do. And even when you have a certified person, you're not always guaranteed they're going to do a good job. See my sister locks horror story video. I'll tag it up here. And so I definitely didn't want to risk going with someone who wasn't even certified. And so I went to the website, and there are a lot of cities around Boston that are named different cities. So there were only a couple options under Boston and Cambridge, but there were options under, surrounding cities. But I was interested in going to somewhere close to campus. So I didn't want to have to go somewhere really far. So like some of the cities that were surrounding are like 35 minutes away by car, but would be like an hour and a half by public transit. And so, I mean, if it takes 3 to 4 hours to do my sister locks, then I'd be adding 3 hours round trip every 6 weeks. And I knew that just wouldn't work for me. That was unreasonable. And so I was trying to find somewhere that was close enough. The other option would be to Uber there, but then I'd be adding like $50 to $60 to my retightening price every 6 weeks, which I didn't want to do either. So that's why I knew one of the non-negotiables was finding somewhere close to me. And when I looked, there was only one person. I was like, I have to get in with her. And so, as I said, it was like 4 months in advance, but I went ahead and called her. I was like, hi, I'll be moving to Boston not until August, but I really want to do my hair with you. I live in the area, so I'll be close. Like, do you have spots? And she was like, honestly, right now, I do not have spots, because this was actually around the time that Ketanji Jackson was sworn into the Supreme Court. And so she was saying a lot of people were calling her to get their locks started because everyone was seeing Ketanji Jackson's hair and loved it. And so they were calling her and wanting to get sister locks done. So she was like, right now I'm really full, but if you said you're not moving here till end of August, September anyway, like that'll be actually perfect timing for when I should be able to start taking you on as a client. So I'm like, okay, perfect. So she was like, yeah, so call back like July-ish, and we'll get you down the books, we'll get you an appointment, and it'll be good. So got to July, I called her again. She was like, perfect timing. As I thought, things have slowed down a little bit, so I do have room. So I went ahead and booked an appointment, as I said, for right after I moved into the city. And it's been great ever since. So as I said, starting in advance is really, really important. The other thing I would even say going further back is consider your hair when you're thinking about what city you're moving to. There are probably some cities where there's no sister loctician within like an hour. You know, like if you're in a rural area, if you're in a very white area, there might not be anyone anywhere near you. And so consider that when you're even considering what city you move to. I wouldn't necessarily say don't move somewhere that you really want to move to just because of your hair, but maybe think about then taking a sister lock class so you know how to do your hair yourself, because you're gonna have to do something, you know. And if you're not willing to drive an hour or 2 hours every 6 weeks to get your hair done, then you'll have to consider that. Now, once you go to your new loctician, don't be afraid to switch if you don't feel like they're doing a good job. So luckily, my person has been great. She does great work on my hair. She clearly knows what she's doing. She's been doing sister locks for like 20 something years. I'm not concerned at all. But as you guys may know from my horror story, the first person I went to who actually installed my sister locks before I got them fixed, so this is not technically her work, she messed them up really badly and did a very bad job. And so let's say I had just moved to Atlanta and I had sister locks already and I went to her. If I'm starting to notice that there's holes in my locks at the roots where she's doing her work, if I notice that, you know, anything fishy, or I feel like she's not doing a full 4-point rotation in my hair, anything fishy going on, don't be afraid to either ask or just find someone new if you don't want to even get into anything with the loctician. You just don't want to risk your hair just over being complacent. The other thing is, if you notice they're telling you things that you know you're not supposed to do, like wash your hair without braiding and banding if your hair is fairly newly sister locked, or adding moisture to your hair once again without braiding and banding if your hair is fairly newly sister locked, then that's a red flag and you shouldn't keep going to that person, and go ahead and go back to the website and try to find someone new. And it might even be a good idea to go ahead and report them to the sister locks people, the community, so that people know that they're not doing the best job. And the sister lock, like, I don't know, the head sister lock people will like, investigate and stuff. So it's not like you're just like blasting someone on like a blog or something. You send like a private email or whatever to the people. They'll investigate the issue and decide if they should like be taken off the website. And so I just think it's really important to make sure, because of my own experience from installation, to make sure that you're going to someone who knows what they're doing and who's doing a good job, not just anyone who happens to be living in the area. The last thing I'll say when looking for a sister lock consultant is to consider the price and what you're willing to pay. Different cities are going to have different standard prices. So Boston, I found, is a little bit more expensive. I pay more for each retightening than in Atlanta. But Boston is also just a much more expensive city. The cost of living is more, everything. I'm not even gonna go to everything is more expensive here. Even like chain restaurants like Chipotle or Cava, it's more expensive to buy a bowl here than in Atlanta. And so that was fine with me because I'm like, okay, she's following, you know, the price in the market or whatever. But if you come and you go to the optician and she gives you the price and it's like way more than you think is reasonable or way more than the other people in your area, I would go ahead and at least consider finding someone new. Now, if she's doing a good job and like you can't find anyone else in the area who's open or taking new clients, or if she's like the closest person to you, then like, you know, maybe just stay and maybe it's worth the investment. But definitely at least consider other choices to make sure that you're not being taken advantage of and you're getting the most bang for your buck. And the other thing I'll say on top of that is thinking about length of time that it takes. So my loctician in Atlanta took 3 hours to retighten each time, or maybe 4. I think it was 3 hours. My loctician here takes about 6 hours. And so when people hear that, they're like, what? Why do you keep going? But as I said before, the only other option is to travel really far out and adding 3 hours to my commute using public transport. Or yeah, because it only takes me about 20 minutes to get to her and 20 minutes to get back. And so even though she takes longer, I think it's worth it. And once again, she does really good work. She charges a fair price. And so for me, it's worth it, even though it takes kind of long. I just know that whenever I go every 6 weeks, it's going to be a long process, and that's okay. Because honestly, she's really nice. I enjoy talking to her. We watch TV together and stuff like that. So the 6 hours doesn't even feel like forever long. But just know what you're willing to do. If you know that with your work schedule and stuff, there's no way you can take 6 hours out of a weekday, that's totally fair. And sometimes I do worry about that too. And so know that you might have to find someone new if she's taking too long. And so, yeah, just making sure to consider all the little things that you might not originally think about, but might get dicey when you get there. So that's all the advice I have for you. Hopefully, if you're moving to a new city, or if you're in the same city but just looking for someone to start your locks, hopefully you're successful in finding someone that works for you and that it can be a strong and good relationship. If not, feel free to DM us on Instagram or comment down below if you need more specific advice to your situation. We have people do that all the time, and I'm not a sisterlocks expert at all, but I've had a lot of conversations with my locticians over sitting in this chair for a long time and doing my own research on YouTube and stuff. So I can give some opinions on what, might be a good idea to do based on my experience if you're having issues with your loctician, if your hair is not looking right, etc. And if not, I can point you toward sister locticians that I have gone to who do really good work and are really quick on answering questions too. So be sure to just leave questions if you have anything, and we'll try our best to answer them. And hopefully we can help you out. But thanks so much for watching this video and joining our community. Once again, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like and comment down below, head to our Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest, and follow us and like and comment there too. We're so happy to have you here. See you next time.